Hi.
How are you doing? Good to see you back.
Yeah, it's good to see you too.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you for giving me an opportunity one more time. And how is everything going on?
Everything is going on great, but I am really busy nowadays because now my vacations are going to end in like 5 days, I guess. And as an actual student works, I did not do my vacation homework beforehand. I just started doing them like 2 days ago, and I'm just so stressed that I have so many vacation homeworks, and it's just all they're all just piled up and I'm just like worried about that.
So, vacations are uh, meant to be, fun. So it's quite okay. But do you think it is sometimes it's a lot in your plate when it comes to school homework and whatever the projects, the project
I
work?
feel like the vacation homeworks, there are a lot of them.
That's what I said.
And I think this time we got 25 or like 25 to 30 vacation homeworks.
Mhm.
And they're just so time taking and so, they're very tiring to do. Like this project that I have to make, this is a card that I have to make about metals and non metals. I have to make a card for all of them and just write their details on a card, and
Mhm.
it's for I think for the whole periodic table, and it's just so much work to do. And sometimes I feel like vacations are supposed to be fun. It's not just working all the time. It's not just doing the vacation homeworks and studying for the upcoming tests. And we also have a science test as soon as the school starts. It's just so annoying and so much work, and I feel like sometimes the school work is just more like a burden because there are a lot of things.
Right, right. So in generally when you get into this kind of a situation, and how do you really embrace this?
I tend to work a lot in decorating and just making the project look really pretty. But when I have so many things to do at the same time, so I just try to make everything like enough, not too good or not too bad, somewhere in the middle, so that I can get good grades. So that's the thing that I do, that just make everything look nice and just good enough, I'd say. So that's a thing that I do to save time and do the things fast.
Okay, but in the process of making it look more fancy or fancier or a little better, then that deserves a little more time always, right? Then when you have
Yeah.
so much in your plate, how do you really cope up? That's what my question is.
Oh, I just work like I just try to not waste my time on the things that I don't that are not more important, like listening to music or playing the piano. Like in my free time, I just try to do the works that are important, like making the project, and I just try to utilize my time really properly and just up to a good level. I just try to utilize my time properly. So that's the thing. Time management, I think that's the key to do the work.
Oh yes, I think that applies to every sphere of life, not
Mhm.
just your school homework or project.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so after a long vacation, when the school opens up, I know there could be heavy moments because the way the vacation would have been.
Yeah.
Did you
Hmm.
really spend the way you desired, the way you had wished to when the vacation had started? Did you really live up to it?
At first, when the vacation just started, I had thought that I'm gonna work on my skills this vacation, like learning languages and improving my painting or sketching skills and all of that. And to be honest, I did not do that. I just improved one language skill, and that's it. And I worked on nothing else. And I didn't really have any plans like going out somewhere for enjoyment or anything. So I think I did good enough, I think.
Ah, fair enough. Sounds good. And when you said language skill, I'm a little curious to know, was it related, is it pertaining to English language or was it a different language that you are talking about?
It's a different languages. It's a different language. At first I had a plan of learning Spanish and Korean, like basics of them, and I only ended up learning Spanish, not Korean.
Okay. And how was Spanish to learn? I think it's moderately easier. Should I say that? I won't say it's easier.
Yeah,
Moderately
because
easier.
the letters of the Spanish letters are very similar to the English letters, so it was easy to learn. But learning Korean, I started doing that, but it took a lot of time to learn the letters and all that stuff because it's just so different from the languages I know. So it took a little time. So I just used to study it like every Monday or like once in a week.
Okay. Uh, Usually, Arundhati, people they tend to get inclined to learn the languages which are commonly spoken in the world. I'll give you an example: French, Spanish, okay, then Chinese could be. I mean, wherever I mean, globally the language has emerged to be
Hmm.
stronger, the
Yeah.
people tend to get inclined to learn those languages. That's the common phenomenon.
Hmm.
This really grabbed my attention when you said that I was looking forward to learn Korean. So why was
Hmm.
that? I mean, was there any specific reason for you to learn Korean?
Actually, at first, I had decided that I was going to learn Chinese or Japanese, and I started learning that. But then I realized that it's just too difficult to learn all of that.
Japanese.
And so, yeah, Japanese and Chinese both. They were just too difficult. First,
Yeah.
I went for Chinese, then I found out that it was very difficult. Then I went for Japanese. It
Hmm.
was also difficult. So at last, my last option was Korean because I feel like Asian languages, they are just very amazing and they sound really pretty, I would say.
Hmm.
It's just so great to hear an Asian language. It just sounds so beautiful. So that's why I decided that I'm going to learn at least one Asian language.
Hmm. Okay. And how would it help you in the near or the distant future? Do you really
Mm,
relate this to any outcome? I mean, a long-term outcome, do you see in this?
I don't really see a long-term outcome. I haven't really thought of it, but learning a language is a really great skill, as it's just so amazing to learn about a language. The culture and all that stuff is just so knowledgeable. I'd say it's so informative. It's a good information to have in your mind.
True, true. And is there any other language that you fancy?
In Spanish. I just want to learn it because it's a language that's very common, not very common, but there are many speakers of that language. So that's why I also want to learn Spanish.
Lovely to know that. You are in that stage of your, life, I would say, where you would, should I say, you would start looking at things from the career perspective, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, should I say it's too early, or maybe it is not? I really don't know because it's how people actually think about it. But I'm
Hmm.
just assuming that you might have started giving it a direction to your thoughts. So then,
Hmm.
in that scenario, sometimes do you feel that linguistics is something which really fascinates you, or is it uh, it's just a passion? Should I say that I really
Uh,
love languages and then I'm learning, or is it that you
hmm.
are really thinking about it to take it up as a career seriously?
I haven't thought that I'm gonna take it up as a career because I want to be an IS officer in my future. So I don't think so that Spanish is related to that
Yeah.
career. So
Yes.
I don't really have a career point of view for that. I am only learning it for my passion. And sometimes when you tell people that you know foreign languages, so they get really fascinated, I can say, and in that case you can try to divert the conversation in your own way. In that particular way you can just talk about how much you know about that language, and you can just tell them a few phrases of that languages, and in that case you can impress the other person. And I feel like it's a really good skill if you have to give an interview. And to become an IAS, you have to go through the interview stage as well. You have to give an interview. So I feel like this can be a little helpful in that, as I can impress other people and divert the conversation in that way.
Hmm. But what if I had to look beyond the spectrum of impressing people? What would that be?
Hmm.
I mean, if you had to
Uh,
look beyond impressing, I do understand you are young, and these kind of
hmm.
things really, they are always there with you. Even it was with me too.
Hmm.
And when people used to come and walk up to me and say that, "How do you speak so well?" Then I used to wonder that, do I really speak well? And then
Hmm.
at the later part of my life, when I started realizing that there are more ways to look at it. I mean, just getting to know and make you feel a little better about knowing things. So if you do you
Hmm.
really look beyond those spectrum of impressing someone, or it is just about that?
I'm not sure about that one, because impressing someone is a great thing in my opinion. And I feel like it can be a really great thing for you. So I haven't really thought beyond that spectrum.
You must, you should, and then that will
Yeah.
actually bring you to that crossroad. So am I interested in, or
Hmm.
am I really looking into this, into that way? Right. We have
Hmm.
spoken so much. We have already covered the 90% of the session, but it was a nice discussion. Do you still want to talk about sports, which was actually the session document today? Maybe I can ask you a
Mm,
few questions on that if you are okay.
we can go for a little conversation on that.
Okay, wonderful. So, do you think it takes a lot to become a great sportsman? Because in these
Uh,
trying times, especially, I think it's not about India everywhere. You
hmm.
really need to be good at to be inclusive in a team
Hmm.
or whatever, represent your country. What's your take on that?
I feel like if you want to be a great sports person, then an athlete, if you want to be like that, so you have to practice a lot and you have to work really hard. And if you are a working professional or a student, then you have to manage both of the things together, the sports life and your work life, both at the same time. So you have to work very hard to become a good athlete or something. And if you want to represent your country on an international basis, so in that case you have to work even more hard. So becoming a good player, like any sports, is a very difficult task, and it needs a lot of passion and patience.
Arundhati, when you said even more hard, I think here you are trying to compare and maybe the comparatives. You can say that I think you can add even more harder, right?
Okay, yeah.
Are you good at any specific sports?
As of now, I am not. But earlier, like 2 years ago, before the this whole COVID pandemic, I used to go for badminton coachings, basketball coachings, and
Huh.
football coachings. So
Oh
I
my
feel
God.
like I'm I'm good at badminton and basketball. I don't really know about football much.
Okay. Is it because it requires a lot of strength,
Not because
energy?
of that. It was I practiced badminton and basketball for near about an year, but I only practiced football for 2 months, I guess, in my summer vacations in 2019, I guess.
Okay. Okay. And do you think sports are, I mean, as a whole, they are very important for a personal growth of an individual?
I feel like sports can be really good for an individual, because we can have a little relaxing session while we are playing a small sport with someone. We can have a little entertainment. It's just mind freshening, I can say, and it can really help you to be away from your work life and all the stress and pressure. You can just go out on an bad in an on or in I think on a badminton court, or
Yeah.
in and bad
I,
okay,
on
on
a
a
bad.
badminton court, and you can just play for 15 minutes with your friend, and it can be really relaxing. So sports can be really good for a person's development.
Hmm. Absolutely. Even it helps you to develop the mental framework too, the kind of
Hmm.
agility and that brings in. Okay, any favorite sports personalities that you relate to?
I don't really have any sports personality that I can relate to because nowadays my interest in sports is decreasing a little bit.
Ah, okay. Okay. Mhm. And there is one more wonderful word that you can use, Arundhati, in this particular context. I'm sure you know that. That is, my interest has started declining. My interest has started dwindling down. You can also say that.
Okay, got it.
Have you heard this word, dwindling? I'm sure you have. Dwindle.
I haven't. I haven't.
Okay, really? Oh, good. Because I added something to your archive of your vocabulary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Anything that you would like to ask me, Arundhati? You are always lovely to talk to.
Hmm.
Very nice because I sometimes get amazed to see someone at your age. I wish if I had to really travel back in time, I wish I could have. Although I spoke, but you are good. Very nice. Keep this
Thank
going.
you. Thank you very much.
Keep this going. And I hope
Yeah.
you enjoy the session for today. Anything that you would like
Yeah.
to ask me?
It was a really great conversation, first of all. And one thing I would like to ask you that what is your favorite sport?
Nothing that I can zero down at this moment, but I love watching international football. But
Oh,
cricket was always a favorite sports for me because I have played it myself. But why
okay.
international football? Because I find the players are better skilled internationally. But now
Okay.
I think Indians there are some good Indian players who have emerged, and
Hmm.
hopefully, if the Indian government spends a
Okay.
little more, pays a more attention to this particular sport, it should come up.
Yeah.
And any particular thing that has been bothering you here on Clapingo? Is there nothing?
No.
Right. Your any experiences that you would like to share that didn't go well, or is it that everything went well?
Everything was good, I'd say.
Lovely, lovely. And then all the best to you, Arundhati.
Thank you.